This is Diane Shabazz of the Chess Drum. This is the fourth drum beat segment. It is May 7th, 2012, and in this segment we'll cover the latest chess news and events. We will talk about, among other things, the US Championship and also the World Championship coming up in a few days. So let's look at the latest news of the Chess Drum. If you haven't visited in a while, this will get you up to date on the latest stories that have been covered here. The latest story is the U.S. Chess Championships, as I stated, will start today with the opening ceremonies, and they will draw the lots, and then the pairings will be posted, and tomorrow we'll have the first round. You have a number of interesting side stories, which includes Hikaru Nakamura will return to the U.S. Championship in his quest for a third title. Gata Kamsky is the defending champion. The women's side is Anna Zatonski in a field that pretty much duplicates the field from last year. So we'll see if we'll have a different champion this year. For more information, you can go to stlouischessclub.org. They have a live feed. They also have commentary done by Benjamin Feingold and Jennifer Shahade. The 2012 Martinique Championship is also going to be taking place beginning May 17th through the 21st. This is not a national championship as such because Martinique is an overseas department of France, but it certainly is the islands championship. If you'd like to find out more information, there is a site that you can find at the bottom of this post, Échec Martinique. The site is in French, so if you don't read French, you have to use one of those translators. Tanzania is holding its May Chess Arena, which is a tournament on the weekend of May 26th and 27th in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. It's good to see that Tanzania is back on the board in terms of chess activity, and I understand they've already had a few events in the last several months. This is the information in case you want to contact the organizer. That's chesstz@yahoo.com. We have the May 2012 FIDE ratings out. Not much of a change toward the top. You have Magnus Carlsen, who's still holding the #1 position at 28.35. Levon Aronian gained 5 points, edging him closer to the lead, but still 10 points behind. Sergei Karyakin went up 2 positions, gaining 13 points, but there really are not many changes in the upper echelon. You did have one player who lost a boatload of points, Shakhriyar Mamdirov of Azerbaijan, lost some points at the European Championships after he did not appear at the start of one of the rounds, and he was forfeited. This was in observance of the zero tolerance rule. He also lost a game where he and his opponent agreed to a draw on move 19 without going to the arbiter to state those intentions prior to making the moves, and they were given a double loss, so that both players were assessed a loss in a very rare event. That turned out to be a very tragic or very unfortunate incident for the Azeri player. We have news coming out of Trinidad. They're launching a new magazine. This is from FIDE master Ryan Harper and Marcus Joseph, putting out a magazine, and I'll give you a look at the cover of the first issue. This magazine will cover Caribbean chess, and it will feature tournaments, it will feature history, it will feature player profiles, and also events that will be organized and run in that particular region. Ryan Harper states, this magazine will try its best to cover many of these Caribbean and wider regional tournaments with a hope that it strengthens chess within the Caribbean. Very noble idea by Ryan Harper. The 10th annual BSOM1 Day occurred a couple of days ago on Saturday. Orrin Hudson, as you can see pictured here, is a person who has made a number of sacrifices to teach certain life skills to the youth, not only in the Atlanta area, but he has traveled around the South and he has been in the media quite a bit, trumpeting his vision, helping youth to make better decisions, and helping to use chess as a vehicle to show that every move you make has consequences. And he has a lot of different proverbs that he uses in order to bring that point home. New in Chess has another edition. And I'm pretty sure that most know that this magazine is arguably the best in the world, in the chess world. This issue they feature Jose Raul Capablanca, who is here dubbed the Mozart of chess. And there's a very lengthy article on Capablanca and his travels, including his stay in America as he attended Columbia University, and also his travels in Europe and his famous matches. There's also a story on the Reykjavik Open, kind of as a follow-up to the last edition of New in Chess. Also had stories on the Reykjavik Open, but they also announced a new book that will be released June 16th. That is written about Bobby Fischer's time in Iceland. It is written by Helgi Olafsson, and they actually have one chapter of the book in New in Chess, so you might want to take a look at that. Also, a very interesting story of Valentina Guarnina, who won the European Women's Championship. IS-318 are national junior champions, and of course I put also because 2 weeks earlier they won the National High School Championship, which is the first time that that's ever been done by a school. And as you can see, the picture here is of Magnus Carlsen playing James Black Jr., who is on both of those teams. And from what I understand, he's going to be attending Edward Murrow, which is also a top chess program there in the New York area. David Allen gave a SIMO in Detroit. This occurred last Friday, and he visited the Detroit City Chess Club, a very active organization that's headed by Kevin Feit. Kevin Feit is pictured here, standing on the left, and I actually had a chance to visit Detroit by his request some years back, also with Cayenne Barkley. You can see pictured here. Cayenne is actually graduating May 20th from Morehouse College with his bachelor's degree, and he will be going off and working in the investment and consulting industry. So that was very inspirational to these young men that you see pictured here. Hopefully David Allen has continued that tradition, and being that he is a PhD in information systems, he certainly can give some words of wisdom to those who have attended that event. Jamaica has new national champions. Actually, the defending national champion tied for a joint first, so really it's not a new national champion, but Andrew Mellis also shares the honors with Damian Davey, who's pictured here. The two of them will have a 6-game match to determine the overall champion, and that will take place in the next few weeks. Krishna Gray won the women's championship of Jamaica. Moving down quickly, Extreme Chess Championship had the finale, which featured the two players here, Elliot Liu and Justice Williams. Williams is one of the players from the IS-318 team that was mentioned earlier, and he played this final match in the reality series called the Extreme Chess Championships, which was an experimental segment conceived by Greg and Jennifer Shahade. Here is a story coming out of Trinidad on Kieran Cabrales controversy. This young FIDE master actually withdrew from the Carifta chess games And he withdrew because of the noise and disruptions in the tournament hall during the first round. He had appealed to the tournament arbiters, but they were unsuccessful in quieting the noise. And so Karan had offered his opponent from Barbados a draw and then promptly withdrew from the tournament. And there's some rumors that Cabrales is considering quitting chess as a result, but let's hope that there are conditions that are improved there so this young player can see how far he can go in chess. Here's Carlsen visiting Brooklyn's IS-318. You saw the picture earlier of him playing Blitz with James Black, so that was a historic event for IS-318, and they're riding on just an incredible wave of success, including a documentary about the program called Brooklyn Castle. Here is the CUSA International Tournament, which featured 9 grandmasters. A very excellent opportunity for African players to earn norms, perhaps. It was a very interesting tournament in that the top seed won the tournament. Victor Bologan, Moldova, won the tournament, and Sergei Tviakov, who's a world traveler visiting over 100 countries, placed second. There are some stories on ChessBase if you want to take a look at some photos. These articles were written by Alina Alelmi, who actually tied for joint first in the women's event with Katarina Leite, and they drew with each other and beat everybody else. And here's a picture of the playing hall, which looks very nice and apparently very good conditions at the playing site. I conducted an interview with Adisa Banjoko of the Hip Hop Chess Federation a couple of weeks ago, and it was about a 17-minute interview and talked about the 5-year evolution of the Federation, some of its accomplishments, and some future plans. And you can just click here and you can listen to it, the audio clip, without having to go to another browser. There was a match between Levon Aronian and Vladimir Kramnik, respectively the number 2 and 3 players in the world, decide to play a match. The first such match by two 2,800 players. It ended in a 3-3 draw with some very exciting chess, enterprising chess. We saw some novelties, and here I have links to all of the games, plus a link to the site, which was aptly called KramnikAronian.com. There are also video segments, so if you want to watch some of the video footage, you have access to that as well. Here's a story on IS-318 high school champs. Those of you who are not from the United States, I want to give you a little perspective on this story here. IS-318 is actually an intermediate school, which means that the students here are from grades 6 through 8. This group of players that you see here went to the high school championship. These players representing high school teams are 9th through 12th grades. So this team actually was the best not only in junior high, as that earlier story indicated, but also at the high school level. This was a monumental result for IS-318, being the first team to ever win the junior and high school championships in the same year. So let's move to some of the other sites. We first start off with the Full English Breakfast, which is a podcast produced by Macaulay Peterson and hosted by Lawrence Trent, the international master, and Stephen Gordon, a grandmaster. The main focus of this issue was the zero tolerance rule that I mentioned earlier, which means that if you're at a tournament, you have to be present at the board, otherwise you'll be forfeited. Also, there was an issue with the no draw policy of not accepting a draw or not offering a draw within the first 40 moves. We have ChessBase, a very interesting story that captured my attention here. It was a chess and shogi. And it detailed a story about Alexander Chernin, who goes to Japan and he gives chess exhibitions. And to his surprise, his chess performance was not very easy. And he played a 15-board Simo and lost 3 games and drew another 2 games. So it looks like chess in Japan is seeing a boost. We have the Capablanca Memorial started a couple of days ago. Vasily Ivanchuk is the #1 seed there. He will be challenged by Linier Dominguez and Lazaro Bruzon, who are also the leading players of Cuba. Jan Nepomniachtchi will also be playing along with Victor Laznica. So here you have the U.S. Chess Championship webpage. You see Gadakomsky and Zatonsky are pictured here. These are the defending champions. You have the listed fields here for both the Open and the Women's Championship. You have the schedule, whereas the Open section only has 1 rest day. So you have 6 rounds, a rest day, and then you have another 5 rounds after that. For the women, you have 3 rest days. So 3 rounds, a rest day, 2 rounds, a rest day, and another 3 rounds, another rest day, and then you have the last round. So very unusual format to try to, I guess, synchronize both of the schedules, which are very different and have a different number of players. You have the home page of the World Championship website. I featured that last segment, but just giving you another look at the page. They posted more press releases, so you can go to moscow2012.fide.com to get more information about the match. Here's the main page for the Capablanca tournament currently being held in Cuba. Here is the chess calendar for the U.S. Chess Federation. They have a number of events that are going to be coming up. The Chicago Open will be the weekend of the 26th through the 28th. Then after that, you have the National Open here, the New York International, the Philadelphia International, the World Open, the Washington International, and then you also have the U.S. Open, which is going to be held in Vancouver, Washington. So you have a lot of strong tournaments coming up in the American circuit. Let's go now to Twitter. So we see I have 13 new tweets, and we'll look at some of those tweets. After we finish the first round, we'll go back up and look at the new tweets and see if there's any new information that we should be aware of. Here we have a very interesting tweet by Maurice Ashley. Did my very first online lesson today. Don't know why I eschewed technology for so long. Teaching chess in any format is deeply satisfying. Here's a story on the largest chess piece in the world unveiled in St. Louis. This was a story, I believe it was a local newspaper in St. Louis that covered this. And this is the story from the local newspaper showing the gigantic piece in front of the World Chess Hall of Fame. And this was unveiled this morning at 9 o'clock, Monday at 9 o'clock. Here's a story that I didn't know about. There's going to be a friendly match between Russia and China. The Kostantseva sisters will not play in this match, apparently. I'll click on this link and see if it's it might be in Russian. No, actually it's in English. And it says Alexandra Kosteniuk published on her live journal in Russian the participants of the Russian national team, which will play in a friendly match against China. This will take place in St. Petersburg. So it gives the team, but it does not include the Kostantseva sisters. The Chinese team will have Hou Yifan, Zhu Wenjun, Xiao Zhu, Ding Zhujing, Cao Qian, and Shen Yang. I know I didn't do justice to those Chinese pronunciations, but it should be a very interesting and intriguing match. I guess you would say, top national teams in terms of women. Russia is the defending gold medal champions, so that should be a very interesting showdown as a prequel to the Olympics, the Olympiad tournament, which will take place in August. Let's go back up to the top and let's see what the new tweets are. Let's see if we're missing anything. So here, Susan Polgar tweets 3 very interesting games at Capablanca Memorial in Cuba. And she's covering the live feeds there. So if you'd like, you can take a look at the games there, as well as a number of other places and the official website that I showed earlier. Okay, so nothing else earth-shattering here in terms of the new tweets coming up. Let's go to Facebook quickly. First, we have the African Chess Forum, and the reason that I bookmarked this is to show the audience the interview conducted by Chess Events East African Community. Nigel Short was interviewed, and that interview ended up at Chess Vibes as well. This is the interview which appeared at Chess Events EAC. It interviewed Nigel Short on his experiences. He has visited about a dozen countries in Africa, and he campaigned for Bessel Koch in the last presidential campaign for FIDE. So you can see pictures here, the simultaneous exhibition in Nigeria. Here's a flashback picture in the Elista Olympiad in Russia. This was 1998. And Nigel Short's rocking the blonde look there. I've never seen that before, but very historic picture there. Nigel is in Ethiopia giving another simo. So a very, very candid interview when he talks about the prospects of African chess as well. Let's move on to the next Facebook page, Chessmate. This is a website out of Jamaica. And what attracted me to this particular site is that I saw a picture of the winners of the Jamaican Nationals, which just ended last weekend. And they show a picture of the players here and the winners, the national champions, and also those that placed in the top positions. And you can see I posted over here if someone can tag the players on the photos, or at least list the winners. And I do know most of the names, but there are some obscure faces in the back that I'm not making out. So now, at closing our segment out, we're going to go and do the game of the week. And I purposely kept this game for some time because I wanted the Chess Drum audience to see this game. I'm going to scroll down toward the bottom and arrive at Chess Game of the Week, which features a game between Justice Williams of IS-318, which I had mentioned before, and Magnus Carlsen, the #1 rated player in the world. It must be a thrill for Justice to play such a player. And he played a very nice game as well. So here we'll go through the game very quickly. And we see that Justice starts off with his English, which turns into a Catalan. Magnus Carlsen stated that he was very impressed with the level of play by the young players. He said he knew they were good, but he didn't know that they were this good. So we can see that Black is fighting for the initiative on the queen side. White repositions his knights. Now he probes. Now we have a very unbalanced position, resulting in doubled e-pawns. You don't see that very often in chess for White. Carlsen starts to get the upper hand here. So he enters a favorable endgame, as you can see, with a better knight versus a bad bishop. Justice decides to sacrifice a pawn in order to free his bishop, but Black plays very actively and stifles any counterplay that White would have. Then White makes a blunder, and the game ends with knight h2, winning another pawn in the game. Still a very exciting game and a very good experience for Justice Williams. Well, that will do it for this edition of the Drumbeat. I hope you enjoyed it. So please come back for future segments. If you have comments, if you have suggestions or questions, you can post those on the blog. You can send me an email at webmaster@thechessdrum.net, or you can hit me up on Skype. I'm at dshabazz, or ICC, I'm at chessdrummer. So that will do it for this segment. Again, I hope you enjoyed it, and come back to future segments. And as I always say, keep the beat going. Thank you.